pause that. Sorry. There we go. Number 48. Malcolm Knowlton has two options for membership. Option A has an annual cost of $3,300 for unlimited golf. Option B has an annual cost of $1,500 plus $40 for each round of golf. How many rounds of golf would it take to equal option A is what it's asking. So set that up. Option A is $3,300 for unlimited golf. Option B is $1,500 plus 40 for each round of golf. This one is not it's not too complicated. You know what's going to be on the right side of the equal sign? 3,300. Good. The right side of the equal sign is going to be 3,300. And something over here is going to equal that. Now we know that the yearly rate for option B is $1,500, right? Plus $40 times each what? Round, which is X, because that's what we're trying to find. And now you just solve it. So 3,300, that'd be 40X is equal to, well, 3,000 minus 1,500 is 1,500, plus 300 is 1,800. And now divide by 40. You don't reach for the calculator yet. Why? Because you're not through simplifying, are you? Now you might be able to do it by hand. 4 will go into 18 how many times? 4 times, Hubert. Thank you, class. And that leaves 20. I get 45. 45 rounds of golf. That's what I'm fixing to tell you. My grandfather told me golf and fishing were for 2 kinds of people. You know who they for? Kids and old people. Why? Because both of them take what? Time. And what do you not have when you're between a kid and retirement? What do you not have? Time or patience. So, 45 rounds of golf. It takes, all right, let's look at this. It takes 3 hours pretty much to walk 18 rounds of golf. Okay, especially if you play legitimate golf course. If you play a rinky-dink golf course, it might take an hour and a half. Okay, but if you play a well put together golf course, you're talking 3 hours. So let's think about that. And you usually play around in the morning and then you play around in the afternoon if you're going to play twice a day. Divide that by 2, what do you get? 24, right? Or 22. 20 days. It's possible. Do 20 days a year. But think about this. How many months are in the spring and summer? You're not going to do it in the dog days. July and August, you forget playing golf. But in the spring and the fall, that's when a lot of people play golf. Yeah, it's doable. 20 days out of the year. Now 40 days if you're talking about just playing once a day. But think about this. How many weeks are there in a year? There's 52 weeks in a year. You talked about playing once a what? Now there's only 2 people that play once a week, and that's cavemen and retired people.
Or professional golfers.
Well, they do their own thing because they can pay their own way. Cavemen, they go once a week. They don't care if kids get what they need done. They don't care if the wife gets what they need done. They're going to go play golf that one time a week.
I have a question.
No, I'm not answering. What?
I don't know. Should I ask?
Go ahead.
Where did the 1800 come from? I got lost. Oh, you subtracted.
Yeah. Because you got to get the X by itself. You got to get rid of this guy first.
Yeah, well, I got jacked up somewhere.
That's all.
Anyway. Thank you. Sorry.
All right. I think it's doable. But it's kind of like this. How many of you like to go fishing when it's snowing and sleeting? I'm not going out there to play golf or fish if it's snowing and sleeting. That's stupid.
Ice fishes don't think so.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about here in South Carolina,
Oh, sorry.
where we never get anything but a little bit of ice and a little bit of snow, and it shuts down the whole daggum state of South Carolina.
State of emergency for inches.
And Channel 4 goes crazy. Okay, so that's how you do those type problems. You might have 2 on the test, if at most. Let's move on. I think the next section is variation.
It is.
And I don't go into this too in depth because y'all don't see it in 120 or 103. And most of you, if y'all do come back, that's what y'all take next. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But I will make sure that you understand how to do variation. Now, first of all, what is variation? Well, it's finding the fudge factor.
What?
Finding the fudge factor. And some of you may be like, what the heck is a fudge factor? A fudge factor is something that makes something work. Let me give you an example of a fudge factor. And you use it all the time when you're talking about doing conversions. Let me just say conversions. Let's say that you want to make some cookies and you look up the recipe for whatever cookies. I'm not going to say what kind because there'll be 15 people that say, oh, those are good, and one person will go, oh, I hate those, and all that. And we get into discussion, so I'm just going to say cookies. And you look up the certain cookie that you want in the cookbook, or you look it up in your family cookbook, or you find your grandmother is 105 years old and ask for it. And it makes 24 cookies. And the recipe makes 24 cookies, and it is 2 cups of milk, a cup and a half of flour, and 2 cups of sugar, and 3 eggs, and 2 tablespoons tablespoons of butter. 1 stick of butter.
That would be 8 tablespoons.
Okay. Now, I don't know if this would make good cookies. I'm just making it up. That's not the point. I always have one smart aleck go, well, that would not make very, shut up.
Making Play-Doh.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's asking you anything, all right? All right. So you make 24 cookies, and everything's good, but somebody likes those cookies and says, you know, next time you make cookies, would you make me a batch? Yeah, sure. So you got to make what? 48 cookies. So you just, there you go, 48. Okay, everybody's happy. So 4 cups, 3 cups, 2 times 2 is 4, 6 eggs, and a stick of butter. Okay, so you took your ingredients and what'd you do? Double. Everybody with me? Okay, and then you give those cookies, you keep 24 for yourself, and you give 24 to your friend, and then they feed somebody, and somebody says, could you tell them next time they make cookies to make me a batch? And what would you do? Multiply it by 3. Well, that's not a problem, Hubert. All right, let's say this. Let's say you have an oddball friend, and let's say that they do not like even numbers. Let's say that either they're on a diet or they don't like even numbers. And they say, you know, well, next time you make cookies, could you make me 9 cookies? Just make me 9. That's all I want. 9 cookies. So that'd be 9 plus what? 24 is what? 33, Hubert. Thank you, class. So I want you to make a batch of cookies, and that batch of cookies is 33. So go ahead and tell me what the ingredients would be. Oh, no. Well, the reason you don't have any idea is because you're not paying attention to what you did in the first place. The first ones we did, you just said double, triple, but you didn't think about how you got that number. How did you get that number? Well, let's look. Oh, well, not that way. Let's look and see how you got these numbers right here. You said double. Where did double come from? I'm asking you. 24 times 2. But that's not correct. That's good. The correct answer okay? And that gives you the fudge factor to multiply by. So, if I wanted to make 33 cookies, what would it be? There you go. You would take 33 and take your handy dandy calculator out because you're going to need it. No, I can't find my dadgum. Hold on. 33 over 24, and I'm going to take, what is 33 over 24?
1.375.
Okay, 1.38. And there is your fudge factor for 33 cookies. So you would multiply 1.38 times all of those, and of course round if you need to, and then that would be your ingredients for 33 cookies. Now of course, you can't have 0.3 of an egg, all right? So if you have, it depends on if you want your cookies to be moist and chewy, or if you want them to be dry, or crappy. All right, I would go up probably. What's 1.38 times 3? Probably 3 1/3. Huh? 4.1. So I'd use 4 eggs. Okay. And that's the way you do it. You find your fudge factor. And there is your fudge factor. Huh? Fudge factor is a science term.
Yeah, right.
It is. No. It's a science term. People use it in science. They call it a fudge factor. Google it.
Have a new message on Facebook.
Go to dang old Google. No yawning in class. Google.
I'll try and work on mine.
A fudge factor is an ad hoc quantity introduced in a calculation, formula, or model in order to make fit observations of the expectations. Example includes Einstein's cosmological constant, dark energy, dark matter, and inflation. See, you thought I was crazy.
How dare you look it up on purpose?
No. I have, no.
Wait, what's an urban dictionary?
It's where you find the slang for everything.
Really?
And I guarantee you I know what fudge factor is.
I've never heard of it before.
Well, you just have to use a little bit of,
Imagination.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Urban Dictionary? Yeah, I've never heard of it. They've got an app for that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you need to just do it on your phone. Do it on your phone.
No, I don't want, I can pretty much guess what it means.
Yeah.
I'm not that slow, but I didn't know they had an urban dictionary.
Oh yeah, it's on there.
Dude, I want the app now.
Okay, here it is. Any variable component added to an experiment, plan, or the like that can be manipulated to allow leeway for error. That's more of a statistical fudge factor more than a science fudge factor. So some of these things I make up, I don't make up. Y'all think I'm crazy, but I'm not. A value or parameter that is varied in an ad hoc way to produce the desired result. See, I'm not crazy.
I didn't say you were crazy.
No, y'all think I'm crazy though, but I
I said he was
understand.
crazy.
How
I'll
do you
admit
know
it.
what I'm thinking?
No.
Can you read mine?
No, I don't want to read mine. That'd be like, what women want. I don't know. You already seen that
You
movie?
start shaking
I
your
love
legs.
that.
No, it's, all right.
And that was before he went crazy too. That
Yeah,
was before he went nuts.
but it's a cute movie.
It is.
And Marissa Tomei's in it, so. Anyway, we won't talk about that. She ranked right up there with Sandra Bullock in my opinion. So. Okay. I have no idea where I'm at now. Okay, now let's talk about fudge factor, direct variation, all that good stuff. Variation. Okay. The variations that you're going to be using is direct, which y is equal to k times x. Inverse, which is y is equal to k over x. And then joint, which is equal to y is equal to k x w. All right, those are the three formulas that you're going to be using in this section. Now, everybody got these down? Everybody got them written down? All right, now, what type of problem, here's what you're going to be doing when you have these type of problems. First, match the problem with the variation. What does that mean? Well, in the problem, you're going to see the word direct. You're going to see the word inverse. And you're going to see the word joint. And you may see a combination of two words. But these three words will tell you which formula or formulas to use, because if you get two words in a paragraph or a question or whatever, then that means you're going to use a mixture of the two formulas. All right? Now, what do you do with the formula after you have decided which one it is?
What is that?
No, not yet. 2. Replace the variables. I don't know how to spell variables. Respectively, but not K. K never changes. K is going to be your fudge factor.
Priority 1 message coming
All right.
in on secured channel.
So make sure, here, let me put K in there, so you can see the X going through it. K
Priority 1 message
stays
coming in on
K
secured
throughout
channel.
your whole problem. You do not change K with any other variable. And you'll see what I'm talking about after we do a couple of problems. Now, once you replace the variables, you need to find K. Oops. Find K. Now, how do you find K? Well, they're going to give you values . They're going to give you values to find K. And it'll say y varies directly as W. Find K when y is 6 and W is 2. It's going to say something like that. Now, some questions will just ask you to find K. So that's, you might want to, let's highlight that one, yellow. And the reason we need to highlight it is because some questions will just ask you to find K. Okay. There'll be some in your homework that might just ask you to match it with the formula. But I usually don't put those on tests. I put these on tests. And then there'll be some questions that will have more information after you find K. More. And I call that more info. The question will state, it'll say, B varies directly with Q. Find K when B is equal to 4 and Q is equal to 7. Then it'll have comma or a period. And then it'll say, find B when Q is equal to 42. Okay? That last sentence is more info. More info means that after you find K, you plug K back in and plug your new information or your more info in and find the new result. that would be like us finding the ingredients for 33 cookies. Once we find the conversion factor, or K, of 33 over 24, then what do? We multiply it by each of the ingredients, and then we have our final product. And that's what they're doing. Once you find K, think of it as a constant, something that doesn't, that makes the formula work. This one is another type problem you'll see. This one is the one that I usually test people on, not you. Now, it seems like a lot, but it's not. Once you see me do 2 or 3 problems, you'll be, okay, this ain't too good for me. All right, so hopefully you've got those written down, and we'll go through a couple, and you'll feel a whole lot better after you look at a couple. And I'm going to just go to the book homework. Okay. That's plug and chug. That's easy. I'm not going to do those. Okay. No, don't want to do those either. Trying to find the ones that I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Do number 36. Write number 30. Don't do it. Write number 36 down. No. Do number 35.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm going to leave if y'all keep it up. 35.
You sent me one email.
All right. Now it says C or H varies directly as L. So which one are you going to use? Direct variation. Y is equal to K times X. So that's the first thing you do is write it down. So Y is equal to K times X. Where did my do go? All right, I'm gonna write it on this paper and then I'll write it on this screen and then we'll transfer it over. So, H varies directly as L. So we're using Y is equal to K times X. What does respectively mean when you see it in grammar? When you see a sentence and it has a bunch of stuff in it and it says respectively, what does that mean? It means together. What? Anybody have a clue? Yeah. In other words, it means that if you're going to change these letters or these variables, you change the Y with the first one that it says change to. Okay, that's what it means. So if it says H varies directly as L, what am I going to exchange for Y? H. And what am I going to exchange for L? Why not K? K never changes. So H is equal to K times L. This is your formula for this question. And there may be some homework questions in here, a few, that may ask you to just convert the formula, and that's what they mean. What is your formula? This is your formula. They will ask for the variation. That's what they'll say. What is the variation? This is your variation for this question. Right here. They'll say find the variation for the following problem. There it is. H is equal to K times L. Now, so far we've done this. So let's mark this out. No, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take a highlighter and we'll highlight that right there. Oops. Nope. That right there. We just did that. And that is this. Okay, now, the second part of this problem is right here. It says, if H is 12, when L is 40, period, or comma. So that means plug and chug. So I'm going to draw this is step 1, find the variation. Step 2 is plug and chug. H is equal to K times L, and they give us 12 is equal to K times 40. And what I got to do to get, what's the only variable I can solve for? K. So divide by 40, divide by 40, and I have no idea. I'll just do it by 2's. Be 6 over 20 and 3 over 10, which is 0.3. So 0.3 is equal to K. Did I get that? All right, now I'm going to put this in a big, and I'm going to highlight that green. So that's what we just did. And this is your product of doing this. K is equal to 0.3. All right, so we got K is equal to 0.3. What do you think I'm going to do with that K is equal to 0.3? I'm going to take K and I'm going to plug it back into your variation equation. And I'm going to take that up here, and this will be part 3. You'll have a better area to do these parts if you have a clean sheet of paper to start with. So H is equal to 0.3 times L. What do you think this is called? Determine H when L is 10. What did I tell you that was called? More info. And that's where part 3 comes in. More info. And we'll highlight that. We'll highlight that a mauve color. And that'll be H is equal to 0.3 times, what did it say, 10? Okay, people, you don't need a calculator for this. What's the answer? Thank you. And that is what you do with the mauve outline. Now, let me reiterate. The questions, there's 4 or 5 questions I could put on the test or homework. I could ask you to find the what? The variation, and that's just finding the equation. That means put the letters in there. It may ask you, which one is this? And you just say that. It could ask you, put the variables in, respectively, and you get that. So there's 2 type questions right there. A third type question is to find K. Fourth question is to, once you find K, do what? Find H. And that's the more info. There's one other question, and it's so easy I don't even give it to you. And they give you y is equal to k times x, k is 0.2, and x is 0.5. And that's just plug and chug. And I'm not going to go over that because we went over that in 6.3. Plug and chug. But that's how you do these problems. Now you do number 36. You do number 36, and then we're going to do another one that's a little bit more challenging. That'll get you pretty much discouraged. My daughter posted something this morning, and I said I was proud. If a madman
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing
wants to kill innocent people, he or she will find a way. Killers don't need guns to kill people. Timothy McVeigh used fertilizer. 9/11 used box cutters and planes. The Nazis used cyanide gas. Taking guns from innocent people will not protect innocent people. The problem is not guns. It's a godless society.
True.
It is. And I don't care who your God is. A God can be a fish. But what I'm saying is, and I can't say, I have to say that because if I say anything else, then I'm trying to convert everybody.
Okay.
If you have something to believe in, if you have some structure in your life, if you have some common what? Sense, you can have a gun. But if you're not one of those 3 or 4 people, then, one of those 3 or 4, then I don't want to give you a gun. I just think you ought to, I think you ought to take,
Where it's rationalized for,
what?
I said, where's the line where it's rationalized for people to be
we pass the psych test and we'll get one.
Well, I think that most of your, I think personally that administrators / teachers should be able to carry guns, but I think that there has to be what we're talking about there with that. In other words, you have to go through 2 or 3 psychological tests, and you have to go through 2 or 3 safety classes, and if that don't filter you out, but as far as I'm talking about to protect schools, is what I'm talking about. I guarantee you, if you started doing that, you wouldn't have these school shootings. If you did have them, you would have less fatalities, because by the time he squeezed off that 3rd round, he'd be dead.
I'm sorry, but the safest teacher on this campus is Dr. McFarland, because he carries his weapon all the time.
And somebody asked me if I would carry a gun in a heartbeat on this campus. But I'm not crazy. I mean, I'm not going to. Now, the only problem, there's one problem I see with carrying guns, and that is what my grandfather used to say: I don't want a pistol because a pistol's too easy to pick up when you're mad at somebody. And that's true.
That is true.
And you got some people, but hopefully the psych test would be able to do that. As far, now you're talking about a generalized population, you're talking about educators. Now how do we do it for the public? There's no way to do it. Now, this is where you get to the question, is it easier to prevent or is it easier to defend? In this case, it's easier to defend because you're not going to prevent it. Yeah, there's too many psychos out there. And have you ever noticed, I hate to say this, do you ever notice that most of the mass killings are always male? I didn't say all, I said most. It's all Bush's fault.
Someone told me at work that we got in this huge argument that Sandy Hook was a hoax, and I about killed.
I question it.
They said that all the kids were found at some local
In a-
neighbor's house, alive.
I
Is that
question
true?
it. I question it. I don't believe it, but I question it.
I don't know.
I mean, you think about it. Some of you remember Columbine. When Columbine happened,
You have
there
a
were people
work
running around that school left and right. They were taking pictures of them left and right. In Sandy Hook, you didn't see one single student around that school, not one. You didn't see any ambulances around that school. You can go to YouTube and you can pull up a video and listen to it. It's about a 45-minute video. And it does bring up some questions about Sandy Hook. I question it. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I do question it. And there's some poor people believe we didn't get on the moon, but that's a joke. I mean,
Yeah, I don't believe that one.
Mhm.
I have friends that say, just don't talk to me, please.
Yeah.
But
All right, here we go. We've got 36. C varies inversely as J. So we're going to use Y is equal to what? K over X. Okay, so we've established our variation, but we've got to convert it to our question. So C varies inversely as J. There you go. And that's your first part. So we'll highlight that yellow. And that is our first part. All right, if C is 7, and J is 0.7, what are we going to find? Okay, multiply both sides by what? 0.7. Now, 7 times 7 is 49. But 0.7 times 7 is 0.49. or 4.9, sorry. Take that, and we're going to color this mauve color or green. And that is this right here. And we just found K. Now, once we find K, what do we do with it? Look back in the formula, Hubert. That's right, class. And now we've got C is equal to 4.9 divided by what? Oh, no, divided by J. And J is what? 12. C is equal to 4.9 over 12. Somebody do that for me. 4.9 over 12, I just want a decimal.
Point 408.
I'm sorry, what?
0.408.
0.408 is good. 0.408. And all of this is mauve. And that is this right here. So again, 3 parts. Finding the variation. Well, here's selecting the best variation. Then this is converting the variation to my problem. And then plugging in and finding K. And then taking K, plug it back in to find more information. All right, now a more challenging problem. Number 37. Now, there's one thing I do not like about this question. And it says A varies directly as the square of B. I want you to make a note when you see that as the square. I want you to highlight that, and I want you to draw an arrow out, and I want you to say square root of. Because when you see the way they write it as the square of B, that makes me want to think, I'm sorry, I got it past backwards, I'm sorry. It makes me think of taking the square root. You don't do that. You square it. All right? That's what I was thinking. So I want you to highlight that square of B, and it looks like you would say the square root. That's not right. You raise it to the second power.
So A squared.
It'd be B squared. It says the square of B, so that would be B squared.
So you don't square root.
You don't square root it. No. It sounds like you do. Huh?
I was like, that's what I thought,
And it's not right. Because if you do that, you're going to get it wrong on the homework.
Alrighty, then,
So make that note. And I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to highlight that red. We're doing 37, right? Yeah, I don't like that. I've actually told the people in the book clubs they need to change that. But they haven't. A, well, X is equal to K. I'm sorry. Wrong. Y is equal to K over X. Now we're going to use this because it says inversely. Right
Well, it
here.
says directly.
Which one did I do?
37.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm doing the wrong one. Y is equal to K over X. K times X. Oh, K times X. All right. Now there's only one thing different about this, and that is it says A varies directly as the square of B. Well, B squared. Remember to reverse it. B squared. So Y is equal.
You okay?
No, I'm just. Yeah, I guess I'm on which. I guess this drink right here is really bothering me.
Refreshment.
Yeah, refreshment. A is equal to K times B, right?
B squared.
Well, I'm just right now changing it into K. A is equal to K times B. And it says as the square of B, just flip this and say B squared, and you won't go wrong. There you go. All right, that's the first part. The second part, A is equal to 245. And B is equal to 7 squared. So divided by 49 on both sides. And K is equal to, what's 245 divided by 49? 5? That's nice. And now take that, plug it back in. A is equal to 5 times B squared. And now more information. Determine A when B is equal to 12. A is equal to 5 times 12 squared. 5 times 144. 5 times 144 is going to be 40, I'm thinking 40, no, 20, and then 5 times 1 would be 720. And that is the answer.
Priority
to
1 message
number
coming in on
37.
secured channel.
Now, that one had a mixture of, not formulas, but had a mixture of terms. In other words, instead of just B, it's B squared. Now there's one more I want to show you, and we can do number 38 or 39. I really just want to do one like that because of all the different, I want to do one that's a little bit different. Hold on just a second. Okay, let's do 40. Because 40 has less variables. And I'd rather do 40 first and then do 38 to 39. So let's do 40. S varies jointly as I.
We have it
Huh?
done.
No. That's not what I want to do. Hold on. This one. We're going to have to do this one. One of these. Okay. F varies jointly. Let's do 38. F varies jointly as the first M and the second M. M sub 1 and M sub 2. We've talked about that before. First and second M. like measurements. All right? And inversely, as the square of d, we said that was d squared. Now, the two things I want you to notice, we've got a joint variation and a what? So you got to mix the two formulas. So see what you come up with, give you a couple of minutes to work it, and let's see what the answer comes out to be after you work it. Yes, sir. No, you mix them together. So it'd be something, y is equal to kxw over something squared. That would be what it's like. But you got to work with the three variables given. Oh, excuse me. Properly there, you can get a partial spring up, don't know how to do it. Can't copy it. I wish you could, but you can't. I'd love to.
Can you erase that half the board? Erase that half the board.
this will work either. Try it. Yep, that's what I figured. Do that, if it'll work with me, which probably won't, but we'll try it anyway. Yep, every time that's what I'm gonna have to do, and then make it big after I copy it. I guess that's better than nothing. Alright. It'd be nice if I had a short-term memory, then I wouldn't have to do this. Alright, so we're doing what, 38? And 38 says F. That's not going to do that either. F is varies jointly as K M sub 1 M sub 2 and inversely as D squared. That's what you should have. All right, now that's the first part. So I'm going to mark that out. And I can't because I'm over there. So anyway, can't do the transparency and the whiteboard at the same time. So let's write down what they give us. They say that F is 20. M sub 1, our first measurement, let's say you're measuring feet, or let's say you're doing the depth of water. First measurement is 5 foot, and the second measurement is 10 foot, and then D, I don't know what that is, we'll just say D is equal to 0.2. And then they want us to determine when M sub 1 is equal to 10, M sub 2 is equal to 20, and D is 0.4. All right. There we go. Plug and chug. Well, the first part, we got to find K. We already done the first part. First part is convert the variation to our problem, and we just did that. Now we're going to plug and chug. 20 is equal to K times parenthesis over parenthesis squared. And the first one is 5. And the second one is 10. And the third is 0.2. So that's going to be 20 is equal to K times 50 over, now be careful here because you're dealing with 20 cents, okay? 20 cents squared, 20 times 20. 20 cents by 20 cents is basically what you're doing. So you're taking 20% of 20%. That's what you're doing. Or 20% of 20 cents. So what is 20% of 20 cents? Well, let's think about that. 10% would be, 20 would be 0.02, and 20% or 10%, yeah, 0.02, so that would be 0.04. Somebody take 0.2 and raise it to the second power. What do you get? You said 0.04? Did you do it? Okay. So that'd be 0.04 right here. Now the reason I'm doing this is because you don't necessarily have to use a calculator on this. because you're gonna multiply by 0.04 on both sides, but you know that 10% of 20 is what? 2, that's right. And 1% of 2, or 10% of 2 is 0.2. So you could actually say 0.2 times 4 is what, 0.8?
Priority 1 message coming
8
in on
would
secure
probably
channel.
be, or 4%, that'd be 0.8. Somebody take 20 and multiply it by 0.04, what do you get?
Priority 1 message coming in on secure channel.
What's 0.04 times 20? It's a miracle. I did that without a calculator. Oh, be quiet. So, 0.8, y'all say 0.8? I can't remember what I said. Is K times 50. Now, how do you, now, this one, you can forget it. Unless you're Rain Man, you're not going to be able to do that. 0.8 divided by 50. Well, I guess I could do it with it. Now, 0.8 divided by 0.1, or 10. Divided by 10, you move the decimal over one place to the left, right? That'd be 0.08 times 5, 0.4.
You don't have to multiply them once in the
Huh?
Clear it out. You know,
I
multiply
did.
both sides.
When you do that, you just clear it out. 0.04, clear it out as it is. And 0.04.
Sorry.
Point 0.08. No, I didn't get nowhere near that. I was trying to do it in my head. What was it, 0.016?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. 0.016. All right, there's K. So what do we do with that K? Plug it back in, Hubert. Thank you, class. All right, I'm going to go to another screen. No, I'm going to erase this screen, so make sure you got everything down. And I want you to finish it out. Okay, so now that we got our K is 0.016. And plug in our values. Now, I'm going to try to do the top in my head because you've got bases of 10, so you should be able to do it. What's 10 times 20? 200, yeah, that's right, class. They would do that so quickly in your head. So, that's 200, so F is equal to 0.016 times 200 over 0.4 squared. Well, 0.4 squared is 1.6. Somebody check me. Is it 0.16? I thought it was 1.6. Okay. All right, whatever you say. I see something right now I can do. Let's forget about the 200. Anybody have any idea what I'm fixing to do? Instead of using the 200? Well, I'm going to multiply it by 10 first. Why? Anybody want to tell me why I'm doing that?
Move the decimal
Why?
to do equal to 1/16.
And then I can do what? No?
Well, cancel it out.
Cancel it
And multiply
out.
by 20.
And then you just left the 20. So F is equal to, take this 10, multiply it by the 6, what is 0.16, what does it do? There's the decimal there, and that gives us 0.16 times 20 over 0.16, and what happens? And you left the 20. What's the answer? I did that without a calculator. You don't want one? Oh my gosh, well let's just do away with this chapter.
Why not? Right. I would love that. I totally agree.
And that's how you do these problems. You want to do one more? Okay, we'll do one more just because Ms. Byfield said no. I know.
Sorry.
I tell you what, y'all go ahead. I'll let y'all go.
What?
I mean, y'all get out in 10 minutes. Y'all want to stay another 10 minutes? Okay, we'll stay another 10 minutes.
Oh my God, can you make up your mind, please?
I'm
Please.
kidding. Y'all go on out of here. I'll go ahead and give everybody, let's see. Let me do the roll because there's a few people not here today. So if you don't mind, just hold tight. Let me stop this thing while I'm at it and stop the video. What in the world? There it is. Stop.